He looked normal. That's the part that still messes me up. We met on Hinge. Casual intro. Normal banter. Polite. Smart. Even made me laugh a few times. His name was Cole. Said he was in finance, recently moved to my city. Had the exact kind of generic profile that usually makes me swipe left. But I'd been bored. Lonely, if I'm being honest. We met at a quiet bar downtown. Candlelight, low music, the kind of place where everyone pretends they're cooler than they are. He was already there when I walked in, waved me over, stood up to hug me. And the second I saw him, I felt it. Not fear, not attraction, just familiarity. Something behind his eyes felt too sharp, too specific. Like déjà vu, but colder. We ordered drinks, talked about movies. He was funny, quick, charming, but not pushy. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling. Halfway through my wine, he leaned forward to grab the water carafe, and his sleeve shifted. That's when I saw it. The scar. A long, faded line just below his wrist. A little jagged, like glass or barbed wire. And suddenly I couldn't hear him talking anymore. Because I'd seen that scar before, in court, 3 years ago. I was a witness in a trial, a robbery gone violent. Wrong place, wrong time. I was walking home from work when I saw a man attack someone outside a pawn shop. There was blood, screaming. I called 911, testified at the trial, and sat in the room while they played grainy security footage on loop. The guy who got arrested wore gloves, but during the struggle, one came off. That scar was the only visible ID mark they had. I remember the prosecutor pointing it out. I remember the jury glancing at it. I remember the man in the defendant's seat clenching his jaw, eyes locked on me the whole time I was on the stand. I hadn't seen him since. Until now. I don't know how long I sat there. He was still talking, smiling, asking about my siblings, my job. "You okay?" he asked. I nodded. "You look like you've seen a ghost. You said you just moved here?" He grinned. "Couple months ago. We've never met?" He tilted his head. "Number Y. You sure?" He laughed. "Pretty sure I'd remember you." My stomach twisted. I excused myself to the bathroom and locked the door behind me. Pulled up the court records on my phone. Typed in his first name, guessed the spelling. Nothing came up. Maybe he used a fake name. I searched news archives. Found the old article. No mugshot, just the incident summary. But the date matched. The location matched. And the scar matched. I stared at myself in the mirror and tried to breathe. Maybe it wasn't him. Maybe I was being paranoid. Scar coincidences happen, right? But when I came back to the table, his expression had changed. The smile was still there, but now it looked too intentional, too controlled. "Everything okay?" he asked again. "Yeah, just a headache. We can call it early if you want. I'll walk you to your car." "I took the train," I lied. He didn't blink. "I can wait with you." "No need." We paid. He insisted on covering the check. Said it was the least he could do after such great company. As we walked outside, he stepped a little too close. "You sure we've never met?" I asked again. He smiled wider. "You're not as forgettable as you think." Then he walked away. Didn't look back. Didn't say goodbye. That night, I triple-locked the door. Slept with the lights on. My phone buzzed around 3 a.m., just once. No caller ID, no voicemail. Next morning I checked his profile again. Gone. Deleted. As if he never existed. I tried reporting it to the app. They said the profile had already been flagged and removed. No further details. I went to the police. Showed them the news article. Told them about the scar. They said without a legal name, there wasn't much they could do. That it could have been a coincidence. That people change cities all the time. That I should stay aware of my surroundings. Thanks. A week passed, then 2. No more calls. No messages. Nothing weird. Until I came home from work last Friday and found a letter under my door. No name. No return address. Inside was a printed photo. Black and white. Grainy. Me. Sitting on the stand, mouth open mid-sentence, eyes locked on someone in the distance. Someone just outside the frame. And at the bottom, in neat typed font, "You're still not as forgettable as you think." He said his family owned a restaurant, not in a braggy way, just slipped it into conversation on our date. I'd met him through a friend of a friend, the kind of guy who's charming without trying too hard. Clean shoes, nice smile, said all the right things without sounding rehearsed. "We should go sometime," he said. "I'll have them do something special for you." So I said yes. He picked me up on a Friday night. The place was about 40 minutes out of town, one of those quiet little spots on a back road with a gravel lot and a wooden sign that just said Kellen's. That was his name. Kellen. Inside, it looked cozy. Dim lighting, warm wood, little tea lights on every table. Kellen said his grandfather opened it in the 70s. Family run ever since. The host greeted us like old friends. Tables ready, chefs excited. That felt odd. But I brushed it off. We sat near the back, in a private booth with red curtains on the side. Fancy without being too much. Menus were already on the table, and mine had my name printed on the front. "Tonight's specials for Lila." I laughed. "Okay, this is cute." He smiled. "Told you I had connections." The menu wasn't long, maybe 10 items. But the names started catching my attention, not the dishes themselves, the names. There was a Katie's carbonara, a Bridget's braised short rib, Sophie's citrus glazed chicken, Tasha's tortellini. All women's names. I flipped the page. Amanda's risotto, Elena's eggplant parm, Marcy's mushroom soup. I remember thinking it was a weird branding choice. Are all the dishes named after people? Kellen shrugged. Family tradition. Every dish is inspired by someone. I nodded, but something stuck in my brain. Bridget. Where had I heard that name recently? While he ordered for us, I discreetly pulled out my phone, searched Bridget missing. The first hit was a local news story. Bridget Cole, 24, missing since July. Last seen leaving a cafe near downtown. I stared at her picture. It was her. Same name, same age range. I searched another. Tasha, missing since May. Still no leads. Then Elena. Disappeared after a yoga class. Family still posting flyers. All within the last year. All from surrounding counties. I felt my chest tighten. I looked up. Kellen was watching me. Everything okay? I nodded too quickly. Yeah, just thought I recognized one of the names. He smiled. Maybe you do. The food came. It was good. Too good. Like someone had practiced every movement down to muscle memory. I picked at it. Couldn't eat. Couldn't stop sweating. I excused myself to the bathroom, locked the door, sat on the closed toilet lid, and tried to breathe. Pulled up the full menu again. Googled every single name. All of them were missing. All women. All within 100 miles. And then I noticed something else. At the very bottom of the menu, in small italic letters, a tribute to those who inspire us. I opened my Maps app and searched the restaurant. No reviews, no website, just a red pin on a nameless road. The whole place felt like a stage. I got up fast, washed my hands, walked back to the table. You okay? He asked again. Actually, I'm not feeling great. Think I need to head home. He tilted his head. But dessert's coming. I'll pass. He didn't argue, just pulled out his keys and offered to drive. Can we stop at a gas station? I asked as casually as I could. Need to grab something for the headache. He nodded. We pulled into a station 10 minutes later. I told him I'd be quick. As soon as I stepped inside, I went straight to the counter. I need help, I whispered. Please don't look outside. Just call the police. Tell them I'm in danger. The clerk blinked, nodded once. I grabbed a bottle of Advil for cover and stayed near the fridges until the sirens showed up. When they pulled Kellen from the car, he didn't resist. Didn't even flinch. They found no record of the restaurant. No tax ID. The building had been rented out under a fake business license. And when they searched the back room, through a door marked storage, they found another menu. One for someone named Clara. She'd been reported missing just last month. Her dish was already written in. We matched last night. She messaged me first. Said I had honest eyes. That made me laugh. I don't know what honest eyes are supposed to look like, but it was better than nice beard or you look tall. Her name was Nina. Blonde, sharp cheekbones, one of those smiles that feels curated for attention, but she seemed normal. Witty, too. We went back and forth for maybe an hour. She suggested meeting up the next day. That should have been the first red flag. Most people wait a few days, chat a little, build some rapport. But she said she hated wasting time, and honestly, so do I. I'd been through enough awkward dating app small talk to appreciate someone who cut to the chase. We agreed to meet for coffee near my work. 4 p.m., low stakes, public, safe. When I got there, she was already waiting by the window with 2 drinks. I guessed your order, she said, handing me a black coffee. It was my order. I blinked. Lucky guess? She just smiled. You look like the type. We sat and talked. She was magnetic. Asked a lot of questions, like a lot, about my childhood, my routine, where I usually eat lunch, whether I lived alone. She said she was into people watching and wanted to know what kind of person I was in the quiet moments no one sees. It didn't feel flirty. It felt scientific. But I brushed it off. I mean, it's a first date. People overshare. They try too hard to make an impression. And I'll be honest, I was flattered. She was beautiful and interested in me. I wasn't going to sabotage it by being weird about her being weird. Then she asked if I wanted to see something funny. Sure, I said. She pulled out her phone and flipped to the photo app. Swiped a few times, then turned the screen toward me. A picture of me. From this morning. Standing in line at my usual coffee spot. Same hoodie, same bag, same tired look. Wait, what is that? She grinned. Caught you on the way in. That's not possible. I didn't see you. Exactly. That's what made it fun. I laughed, but it came out wrong. How did you know where I'd be? I told you, she said, still smiling. I've been looking forward to this for weeks. I stared at her. But we matched last night. She tilted her head. No, you swiped last night. I've been watching longer than that. I stood up. Okay, joke's over. She didn't flinch, just calmly sipped her drink. You're going to want to see the rest. I should have walked out. Should have thrown the coffee in her face and sprinted into traffic. But instead, I followed her outside, like an idiot. Her car was parked right across the street, a nondescript black sedan, tinted windows. She popped the trunk. Inside were dozens of photos, printed, not digital, not screenshots. Actual 4x6 prints, glossy, some still curled from the heat of a printer. All of me, taken from behind, from the side, through windows, across streets. One of me sleeping on my couch, another eating takeout at my desk. One of me sitting shirtless on the edge of my bed, rubbing my eyes like I'd just woken up. How did you left your blinds open, she said. Most people do. You'd be shocked what you can see from the sidewalk. My throat dried up. This isn't funny. Who said it was? I backed away. She didn't move. Why are you doing this? She closed the trunk gently. Because no one's ever noticed me the way I notice them. And I thought, maybe you would. She smiled again. Too soft. Too sad. I know your schedule. Your habits. I know the way you twitch when you're nervous. I know what your voice sounds like when you talk to your dog. I know you hum when you make toast. You've been inside my apartment? She just smiled. I ran. Didn't say goodbye. Didn't look back. Just ran straight into the coffee shop and called the cops. They showed up 10 minutes later. Her car was gone. No plates reported in the lot. No footage caught her leaving. The app profile? Deleted. But that night when I got home, I found a package on my doorstep. Inside were 3 things. a flash drive. A photograph of me sitting in that exact spot on the couch holding my phone. A note that read, "This was my favorite angle." I plugged the flash drive into an old laptop I keep offline. It was full of video clips. Me, doing nothing, walking, eating, sleeping, watching TV, dozens of them. Each file labeled with a time, a date, and a title like, "Laughs at Commercials." Scratches neck when anxious. Cried during voicemail from mom. I stayed up all night deleting everything, changed the locks, bought curtains, canceled my lease the next morning. I haven't seen her since, but sometimes I wake up thinking I heard the shutter click. And last week, I got a new message on a completely different app. "Still humming when you make toast. I love that." We met at a bookstore. It sounds cliché, I know. But I was browsing the clearance table and she stood next to me, reached for the same copy of In Cold Blood and said, "Good taste." She was pretty, confident, wore dark lipstick and an oversized coat like she lived in someone else's closet. We started talking, and 20 minutes later, I gave her my number. She texted me that night. "You have a very still face. It's interesting." That should have been the first red flag. But I was used to odd compliments. People say weird things when they're nervous, or trying to be deep. And something about her, the way she made you feel seen even when you didn't want to be, made me ignore the weirdness. Our first date was casual. Coffee and a walk around the lake. She asked a lot of questions. Not surface level ones, like, "What's your favorite movie?" But weirdly personal stuff. "Did you grow up here? Do you remember your first best friend? Did you ever want to change your name?" That one stopped me for a second. "Why would you ask that?" She shrugged. "You just seem like someone who's had a few versions of themselves." She wasn't wrong. 3 years ago, I legally changed my name, left the old one behind, along with everything that came with it. Only 2 people knew the name I was born with: my childhood best friend, who I lost touch with after college, and my ex. The ex who made me need a new name in the first place. Anyway, the date went fine. Better than fine. She was magnetic. She made me feel interesting, important, like she already understood me. And that's probably why I didn't notice the necklace until the 3rd date. We were sitting on her couch, eating takeout and watching something forgettable. She bent down to grab a soda off the floor, and her necklace slipped out from under her sweater. It was silver. Small pendant. 1 word, in cursive letters. My name. Not the one I go by now. The original one. I froze. "Where'd you get that?" She looked down and laughed. "Oh, this? It's just a coincidence. Funny, right? You said you got it from your mom, that it was your name." She tilted her head. "Did I?" I stood up. "What's going on?" She smiled. "You're being paranoid. Take it off." "Why?" "Because it's my name. Not the one I gave you, the one I left behind." The smile dropped. She pulled the chain off slowly, folded it in her palm, held it like a dead thing. "You don't remember me, do you?" My mouth went dry. "Should I?" She stood, walked to the bookshelf, and pulled down a shoebox I hadn't noticed before. Opened it. Inside were photos. Me, not recent. Old ones. From college. From high school. One of me as a kid, standing in front of my childhood house in a Halloween costume. All labeled. All organized. And on the top of the pile, a note. "The ones who disappear always think they're safe." I backed toward the door. She didn't try to stop me, didn't yell, didn't lunge, just watched. "You changed your name, but you didn't change you," she said. I ran. Didn't take my jacket. Left my bag. Just bolted. Called the cops. They went to her place. It was empty. No photos. No necklace. No furniture. Just a clean, abandoned apartment and a fake lease under a name that didn't exist. The number she used? Disconnected. The bookstore clerk said she'd never seen her before. It was like she was built just for me. I moved a week later. New city. New phone. New job. But 2 nights ago, I got a package. No return address. Inside was the necklace and a photo. One I've never seen before. Me, sleeping, taken from the foot of my bed, and scrawled on the back in sharp, slanted writing. This name suits you better. She was 20 minutes late. Not a huge deal, plenty of people are. But I'd been sitting at the bar with a slowly dying gin and tonic, debating if I should just leave when she walked in. Red dress, no jacket, confident stride like she knew every eye would follow her. "Sorry," she said, sliding onto the stool beside me. "Traffic and wardrobe drama." I said it was fine, that I'd only just sat down. She laughed and ordered a drink without even looking at the menu. We'd matched a week ago. Her name was Lacey. Said she worked in marketing, was new to the area, didn't know many people yet. I remember thinking she messaged like someone older. No emojis, no abbreviations, just complete sentences and sharp questions. Still, she was funny, director, pretty. And I'd had enough awkward first dates to know when one was actually going well, until she said it. "So, I should warn you, my last date disappeared." She said it with a grin, like it was a joke. I laughed back, but not fully. "Disappeared?" "Mm-hmm. Ghosted. Vanished. Poof. Gone." "Okay, but like, literally?" She sipped her drink, smirked. "Maybe." Then she changed the subject. I tried to shake the weirdness off. Thought maybe it was just her humor. Some people joke dark, right? She asked me about work, family, if I'd ever broken a bone. The usual. But somewhere in the middle of her story about a childhood hamster that bit her cousin's nose, I noticed something off. She never blinked. Not in a frozen, creepy way. Just unnaturally steady. Like she was watching to see how I'd react to everything. "Be right back," I said. "Bathroom." She smiled. "Of course." The hallway to the restrooms was dimly lit and narrow. I splashed water on my face. Told myself to stop being paranoid. I reached into my jacket for my car keys. Gone. I checked every pocket. Nothing. Weird. I knew I'd had them. I remembered the beep when I locked the car. I stepped back into the hallway, and the restaurant door at the end had been shut, the one that was propped open when I came in. I walked to it. Locked. Not like chain locked or bolted. Just shut. Firmly. From the other side. I knocked. No answer. I pulled harder. Still nothing. No sound from the dining area. No chatter. No clinking of glasses or cutlery. Just that heavy, insulated silence you only notice when it's wrong. I turned back toward the restroom. Only now, there was a man standing outside it. Middle-aged, stocky, apron. He looked at me like I was in the wrong place. "You good?" he asked. "Yeah, sorry, The door locked behind me. He didn't react, just stared. "You came alone?" I hesitated. "Number, I'm here with someone." "Lacey?" His jaw tensed. "Describe her." "Red dress, blonde. Said she had a reservation." He didn't move. "She's not real." "Excuse me?" "She shows up every few months. Different name, different story. But it's always here. Always the same bar stool." I didn't respond. He pointed behind me. "Turn around." I did. The restaurant door was open again. And the bar? Empty. Lights dimmed. Chairs upside down on tables. Bartender gone. "What the hell is going on?" "You're lucky," the man said quietly. "She doesn't usually let them leave." "What are you talking about?" He held up a ring of keys. Mine were on it. "Found these under your seat." With a phone, he handed them to me. But my phone? Hadn't been missing. I pulled mine from my pocket. Still there. Still on. This one was identical. Same model. Same lock screen. Only when I turned it on, the photos weren't mine. They were of me. Sitting at the bar. Talking. Laughing. One taken from the hallway. One from the mirror in the restroom. And the last, me standing in front of the locked door, looking confused. "She watches," the man said. "She studies, and then she disappears." "Who is she?" He looked tired. "We don't know. The owner used to call the police, filed reports, nothing stuck. Cameras don't catch her, phones lose her data. But the ones who don't leave in time." He trailed off. "I think she keeps souvenirs. I left without asking anything else. Didn't go home. Slept at a friend's. Didn't answer texts for 2 days. I haven't been back since. But sometimes I think about what she said. My last date disappeared. And the way she smiled when she said it. Not like it was funny. Like it was true. I should have trusted the weird feeling I got when he picked the restaurant. We were barely 2 days into messaging. He seemed interesting. Funny, thoughtful, smart without trying too hard. Then out of nowhere, he asked, "Would you be down to do something kind of unusual for our first date?" I laughed. Asked him what kind of unusual. He said he wanted to recreate a dream. I dreamed about us last week. We'd never even spoken yet, but it felt real. I should have said no, but I'd been on so many boring, recycled dates. Coffee shop, bar, awkward brunch. Something about his approach caught me off guard. It felt intense, but in a cinematic way. So I said yes. He picked the place. A little Italian restaurant on the edge of town, the kind that only has 8 tables and flickering candles. He told me to wear something dark but elegant, that the dream had been very specific. When I got there, he was already at the table. He stood, smiled, pulled out my chair like it was the 1950s. No phone in sight, no menu in his hands. "You're right on time," he said. Just like in the dream. I laughed it off. Nervous laugh. The waiter came over before I could ask about the menu. 2 plates. No orders taken. "How did you know what I wanted?" "I didn't," he said. "You ordered this in the dream. You loved it." I glanced at the waiter, expecting some sort of wink. None came. The food was fine. I barely tasted it. My stomach was too tight. He kept narrating little things. "You laughed at that exact joke in the dream. You said, after your second bite, not the first. You reached for your water right about now." It wasn't playful. It was rehearsed. Like he'd practiced this. Like I was following a script I'd never seen. "How long was this dream?" I asked. "Hours," he said. It felt like a movie. I remembered every second. "Why would you want to reenact it?" "Because I didn't want it to end the way it did." I set my fork down. "How did it end?" He didn't answer. Just smiled, tilted his head slightly. "Let's enjoy dessert." He waved the waiter over again, who brought tiramisu. 1 slice, 2 forks. I didn't touch mine. He ate slowly, like he was timing each bite. "Did we have dessert in the dream too?" "Yeah." "And?" "It was your favorite." "And after that?" He placed his fork down, folded his hands, looked me dead in the eyes. "After dessert, you died." I didn't speak. "Not violently," he said. "Just suddenly. 1 minute you were laughing, then your head tilted back and your eyes glazed over." "Why are you telling me this?" He leaned forward, voice low. "Because everything's been identical so far. Every word, every blink, every gesture." He reached into his coat pocket. I flinched, but he just pulled out a napkin, unfolded it. It was covered in tiny handwriting, dates, times, dialogue, everything I'd said that night, verbatim, including things I hadn't said yet. I scanned the list. At the very bottom, one final line. "Why are you telling me this?" And below it, blank space. He smiled. "That's where we are now." I stood up. "I think I'm going to go." He didn't stop me, just nodded, calm. "That's different," he said. "You didn't get up in the dream." Good. I made it to the exit, tried to act composed, tried to keep my pace steady. But the moment I stepped out into the parking lot, I ran. Didn't look back. Got in my car, locked the doors, and drove. But I couldn't stop thinking about the timing, the phrasing, the eerie correctness of every little moment. It was too precise. When I got home, I sat in the dark for hours, trying to calm down, trying to make sense of it. Around 11:32 p.m., my doorbell rang. I froze. Didn't move. It rang again. When I finally got the courage to check the peephole, No one was there. Just a folded napkin on the welcome mat. Same handwriting. No threats. Just one line. You left before the ending changed. I didn't bring it inside. I haven't seen him again. But I did something the next day. I called the restaurant, asked if they had a reservation under his name. They didn't. Asked if they remembered me dining there. They didn't. Said they hadn't had dine-in service in over a week. Deep cleaning, they said. No waitstaff. No bookings. Said the place had been closed that night. So I asked, was anyone inside? Did anyone else have a key? Silence. Then the man on the phone said, we're just the maintenance crew. Place isn't scheduled to reopen until next week. If you saw lights on, someone broke in.